Welcome, foolish mortals, to Count Gauntly's Horrors from the Public Domain. I am your host, Count Simon Gauntly, and each episode I'll be leading you on a journey through the history of film. Specifically, we'll be exploring that eldritch abyss known as the public domain. These are films forgotten by time or abandoned by their creators. The strange, the horrifying, the poorly and cheaply produced. All of these are the purviews of the public domain. So what are we waiting for? Come, join me in my crypt. It's bigger on the inside. Come, join me.
There lived a man so long ago, Count Gauntly was his name. His horror host abilities had brought him wide acclaim. The people flocked from miles around each Gauntly movie night, not knowing that the films he showed infringed on copyright. Upon discovering this fact and learning it was true, an angry mob of lawyers formed with pitchforks, torches too. They tracked the Count and sought to stop his movie hosting ways, and torches blazing put an end to Gauntly's earthly days. But our man was too resilient to let death be the last word. He sat up upon his slab and vowed he must be heard. So he stocked his tomb with gadgets from the local studio, intent on showing movies on an awesome TV show. But he had to find a legal way, so Gauntly racked his brain. 'Twas then he learned of something called the public domain. Now here he is, the time has come, his dreams are coming true. Count Gauntly's here to share a film in hopes that you won't sue.
Hello, and welcome once again to Count Gauntly's Horrors from the Public Domain. It's the 4th of July, and, well, it's admittedly true that America doesn't have many counts or dukes or earls or barons or viscounts or archbishops. I've made it my home. I'm so grateful to this nation for providing the expansive public domain from which I can cull the media that I use on this program. And I can use it whenever and however I want. Truly, it's a wondrous nation. And so, on 4th of July, I like to sing its praises. And that's just what I intend to do today. I've got my friend here, the Blizzard Wizard. Yes, he's a sorcerer of truly frosty majesty. And he's here with me today to share in my patriotic celebration. And we're going to start you off with a short film which details all of our great American presidents, from beginning in 1789 with George Washington right up until our most recent president. And so we're going to start you off with that. How does that sound, Blizzard Wizard?
Sounds nice. Ice. Ice. Ice.
Okay then. The presidents.
Enshrined forever in the archives of America's history will be those great men who have guided our country to her destiny as leader of the world's free nations. Here then are our presidents. George Washington, first in war, first in peace. His grateful countrymen called him to be their first president. John Adams, first president to live in the White House. Thomas Jefferson, author of the Declaration of Independence. James Madison, Jefferson's Secretary of State, twice elected to the presidency. James Monroe, 5th president. He formulated the Monroe Doctrine. John Quincy Adams, scholar, statesman, son of President John Adams. Andrew Jackson, colorful old hickory, the people's president. Martin Van Buren, 1st president, born an American citizen. William Henry Harrison, the gallant old Indian fighter who died a month after his inauguration. John Tyler, 1st vice president to succeed to the presidency. James K. Polk. His administration saw Texas admitted to the Union. Zachary Taylor, old rough and ready, found the slavery issue splitting the nation. Millard Fillmore effected a temporary solution by signing the Compromise of 1850. Franklin Pierce, 14th President of the 31 United States. James Buchanan, despite his efforts, the country drifted toward civil war. Abraham Lincoln, he preserved the Union, and his immortal words are still reverently read at the Lincoln Memorial. With malice toward none, with charity for all, let us bind up the nation's wounds. A gentle father, a forgiving victor, a humble leader. Andrew Johnson, to him fell the momentous problems of Reconstruction. Ulysses S. Grant, a brilliant general, for 8 years he led America at peace. Rutherford B. Hayes, 19th president of a nation now grown to 39 states. James Garfield, victim of an assassin's bullet 4 months after taking office. Chester Arthur, a champion of civil service reform in government. Grover Cleveland, only president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms in the White House. Benjamin Harrison, grandson of the 9th president, William Henry Harrison. William McKinley, 24th president, was assassinated while visiting the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo in 1901. And now, for the first time, a new invention, the motion picture camera, records the inauguration of a president. McKinley rides to the Capitol on a blustery March day. A year later, he was to guide America in the war with Spain. Theodore Roosevelt returned from the Spanish-American War a national idol, and when McKinley was assassinated, he became our youngest president. These were busy, exciting years for America, now becoming a world power. The Panama Canal was started, pure food legislation passed, conservation furthered. The dynamic old Rough Rider steered the ship of state with a resolute, forceful hand. Long after his 7 years as president were over, he remained in the public spotlight, a respected and beloved figure. William Howard Taft, a portly, jovial personality with an infectious chuckle, was the successor Theodore Roosevelt picked to carry on the policy started by him. Taft was the only president to later serve as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. But while America continued to prosper during his administration, war clouds were blowing across the face of Europe. Woodrow Wilson became president in 1913. War erupted in Europe a year later. America entered in 1917. When the war was won, Wilson sailed for France to receive there a heartfelt welcome. At the peace conference, he worked tirelessly to weld the covenant of the League of Nations into the Versailles Treaty. The president returned to America and new acclaim from his own people. Still more honors were heaped upon him. For his labors for peace, he was awarded the Nobel Prize. But his endeavors had taken a severe toll. Although in health, the president continued to toil with his remaining energies for lasting world peace. Warren G. Harding embarked the country on the job of returning to a peacetime footing. His easygoing cordiality was exemplified by his campaign, conducted mainly from the front porch of his home in Marion, Ohio. In 1923, the nation mourned his passing. Calvin Coolidge, a man of simple manners and few words, conscientious and scrupulously honest, succeeded to the presidency. The first family shunned the spotlight. With the shrewd conservatism instilled by his New England parents, Coolidge carefully guided the United States, with his wife by his side, through an era of prosperity and rare good feeling. Herbert Hoover had won wide respect for his relief work in Europe after World War I. His were an eventful 4 years in the White House. There was a worldwide depression. Japan sent troops into Manchuria. Adolf Hitler began his rise to power in Germany. The seeds were being sown for World War II. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, energetic, progressive, had been Wilson's Assistant Secretary of Navy and vice presidential candidate before infantile paralysis threatened his brilliant career. But he overcame the crippling illness, was elected governor of New York, nominated for the presidency, and elected overwhelmingly. America was fighting for her life in World War II when Roosevelt, elected for an unprecedented third term, visited American troops in North Africa. The pendulum of victory already was swinging to the Allies, but the president was not to see Germany and Japan surrender. 3 months after beginning a fourth term, death claimed America's commander-in-chief. Harry S. Truman took the presidential oath in the green-walled cabinet room of the White House from Chief Justice Harlan F. Stone of the Supreme Court. Reverently, he asked friends, "Give me your prayers." Truman's career was the realization of the great American dream, the country boy who became president. His friendly manner made Americans feel he was plain folks. Dwight D. Eisenhower, sincere and vigorous, a man in any cloth, soldier, educator, or statesman. Architect of victory in Europe, in World War II, he swept the forces of Hitler to total defeat. He returned home and his own people took him to their hearts. In New York, he waved happily as a storm of confetti and ticker tape swirled down around him. He was the man of the hour. A leader in civilian life, as President of Colombia, Ike championed the cause of freedom. Then NATO called him, and in 1 short year he made allies out of old enemies and helped unify Western Europe. Home again, General Eisenhower engaged in the biggest battle of his career, the battle for the White House, and won an emphatic victory. Dwight David Eisenhower, 33rd President. Another chapter, may it be a bright one, in the glorious and continuing story of America's presidents.
And that's the whole story of the American presidents, right up until today.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's all of them.
I think there's been presidents more recent than Eisenhower. Eisenhower.
I don't think so, but then I have been dead for a while. I mean, there's that commercial on TV right now. I'm sure that it's been in the news lately, like the whole "I like Ike" thing. Pretty sure that's contemporary.
Ready, 3, take 3.
Ike for president, Ike for president, Ike for president, Ike for president. You like Ike, I like Ike, everybody likes Ike for president. Hang out the banner, beat the drum, we'll take Ike to Washington. We don't want John
or Dean
or Harry, let's do that big job right. Let's get in step with the guy that's hep, get in step with Ike. You like Ike, I like Ike, everybody likes Ike for president. Hang out the banner, beat the drum, we'll take Ike to Washington. We got to get where we are going, travel day and night for president. Let Adelaide go the other way, we'll all go with Ike. You like Ike, I like Ike, everybody likes Ike for president. Hang out the banner, beat the drum, we'll take Ike to Washington. We'll take Ike to Washington.
Now is the time for all good Americans to come to the aid of their country.
See, there you have it. The very latest in presidential campaign advertising. And I don't know about you, but I like Ike. Do you like Ike?
I do like Ike. Sickles.
Get out of the way! Get out of the way!
What? What's that? What? Oh, it's the... What?
It's good to see you again, my friend.
Oh, it's the glorious leader of East Tiberia. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm so glad to be
Shooed
here.
the blizzard wizard away. Perhaps we'll see him again.
The
I'm
skinny
sure
man running down the hallway. He looked very weak and cowardly. Don't worry about him.
Well, yeah, maybe he'll be back. I don't know. You do have quite a presence.
Oh, yes. I do enjoy my presence.
Well, before you came in, we were celebrating the 4th of July here in the studio. In my crypt. Under the ground here.
What's special about the 4th of July?
Well, it's a day that celebrates American independence.
American?
Yes, the land of the free and the home of the brave and all the great privileges it entitles us to.
We have plenty of brave people in East Tiberia. I tell them to go to war, and they bravely go to war and die. Just for me.
That does sound brave. But,
very brave. Lots of dangerous stuff in war. But I tell them to go, and they go. Well, because I take away their families if they don't.
Interesting. But how did you come to power?
Oh, obviously I took it. I mean, how else does anyone come to power, really?
Well, some places have things called elections.
I don't care about what the people say. I know what's right for them, because I am the glorious leader.
Well, you know, what you're describing sounds an awful lot like it might be getting close to despotism.
What's that?
Well, it's when one person holds all the power in a government.
Yes, and what's wrong with that?
Well, you know, it's fine and good for the person in charge, and like you said, you get all the brave people and the smart people doing all the stuff that you want for you.
Exactly, as it should be.
But the one setback is that in a system like that, there isn't the competition that exists in a free market system, which allows for people to create new products and improve them over time so that people gradually have better products available to them at competitive rates.
There's plenty of competition. I throw a piece of bread in the street, lots of competition jump on it to get it. And then we get great inventions like sharpened stick. That's how they get bread. They're very smart. I promote them very quickly.
That does sound rather ingenious, but I think I'm going to show you a film to show you what I'm talking about here. It's called Destination Earth, and it features some wacky Martians talking about two of the things which make America truly great: the competition that exists in a free market system, and gasoline and other petroleum-based products. Because if there's one thing that makes America great, it's its reliance upon fossil fuels.
Please, thank you for this unsolicited testimonial. And now, by special permission of the Commander-in-Chief, me, here is Mars' first space explorer, Colonel Cosmic.
I can't tell you how happy I am to see your smiling faces once more. First, let me say that this trip was made possible only by our dauntless chief, Og the Magnificent, introducer of Og Power, which runs most of our industry, an inventor of Og Speed, which doubles the original Og Power. A short time ago, the master was having trouble with the state limousine. He had, of course, developed the explosive charge. But it was inclined to get a little out of hand, just slightly. And, of course, there was always the problem of friction. Parts rubbing together, heating up, and causing all sorts of trouble. But our leader was undaunted. He immediately ordered our first expedition into space to bring back the secret of how other planets got their state limousines to run smoothly. The target was picked with painstaking scientific accuracy. Destination, Earth. You all know with what eagerness I volunteered for the mission, and with what confidence I took off. I took careful bearings and set out for my goal. It seemed no time till I was approaching a country of Earth called, the United States of America. I set her down like a feather. What's all the racket? Naturally, I protected government property by making the saucer invisible. They're after the chickens, Ma! And though the natives showed great interest in me, I decided to make myself invisible, too. Seeing moving lights in the distance, I headed for them. What phenomenal luck! I had landed close to what seemed to be an endless procession of state limousines. They moved quickly, and yet with fantastic smoothness. I just had to get a closer look at one of those Earthmobiles. Just as I thought. Not only smooth and efficient, but powerful as well. I watched them for hours. Great Ganymede, they were superb. I just couldn't help comparing them with ours, if you call that a comparison. Surely these vehicles must be the property of the highest officials. I was wrong. It seems that almost everybody in this country has one of those, they call them automobiles. They use them for transportation, for business, for pleasure. They use them for all sorts of things. I found that these vehicles gather at places called service stations, where they are fed, lubricated, that's how they beat friction, and given the finest care. The source of their nourishment was something called petroleum. A power source like that must be a highly prized state secret. I had to find out about it. Perhaps the secret lay within this government archives building. It was heavily guarded, but casting discretion to the winds, I walked boldly inside. Their code was remarkably easy to break. They merely substituted the word oil for petroleum. And I soon got hold of a veritable mine of classified information. I began to assimilate the material. I soon found out that though petroleum products are easily found anywhere, petroleum itself is a very elusive substance. Experts have to search for it constantly in all the most likely and unlikely places with all kinds of scientific devices. When they figure they found a good spot, they drill a hole in the ground called an oil well, for almost all oil lies far beneath the surface of the earth. These wells go down thousands of feet and cost a lot of money to drill. But that's no guarantee that they're going to find oil. Matter of fact, in exploratory drilling, only 1 well in 9 finds any oil at all. Only 1 in 44 recovers enough oil to pay for itself. And only 1 in almost 1,000 makes a major discovery. Pretty big odds. Yet America's proved reserves, the oil supplies still underground, have kept increasing steadily. I couldn't imagine how this ever-increasing supply of oil was achieved until I found out that there's not just 1, but thousands of oil companies, all competing with each other to discover and develop new sources of oil. For believe it or not, in the USA, anyone who is willing to risk it can drill for oil. But oil discovery is only part of the story. Once they get oil out of the ground, it has to be moved through pipelines, on ships, or in tank cars to fantastic processing plants called refineries. Crude oil goes in, and great Jupiter, the things that come out. Gasoline, for example, the most efficient mobile power source on Earth. That was the stuff that powered all those cars and trucks. And asphalt, which makes smooth, durable roads. It seems that oil not only runs cars, it even gives them something to run on. Another oil product is the diesel fuel, which runs giant trains across the nation. In winter, fuel oil made from petroleum brings warmth and comfort to millions of homes. And still other fuels help defend America's shores and skies. From refineries also come the lubricating oils and greases that keep the wheels turning in America. But that still isn't all. Crude oil, like everything else, is made up of billions of tiny molecules. And using the magic of research, oil companies compete with each other in taking the petroleum molecule apart and rearranging it into, well, you name it, fabrics, toothbrushes, tires, insecticides, cosmetics, weed killers, a whole galaxy of things to make a better life on Earth. And you know, it isn't just oil companies that try to outdo each other, competing for the customer's dollar. The same story is true of almost every successful business enterprise in America. The result? A higher standard of living in the USA than in any other country on the whole planet. At last, the secret was mine. And now, to get proof of my discovery, smuggled past the border guards. In spite of my infinite precautions, one of them became suspicious and gave the alarm. Come back for the eggs, did you? Yeah.
And so, with the fond farewells of the natives ringing in my ears, I took off once again for Mars. My landing was a little bumpy, but I saved my precious cargo. Yes, I brought the secrets back with me, and here they are. The big secret is, of course, oil, which has brought a better life to all the people in the USA. But the key to making oil work for everybody is competition. Fellow Martians, I thank you.
Very interesting, Colonel. Oil, huh? sounds splendid. But that, what was it? Competition. Not our kind of thing at all. Why, competition is downright unmarked.
Oil. We'll have oil for everybody. That's what we need. Oh, boy, oil.
Look at them. You know what this means, Cosmic?
You bet I do, Og. It means that you're through. So why don't you get lost? Yes, the real secret is not only a great source of energy, but also the freedom to make it work for everybody. And if you have both of these things, any goal is possible. It's Destination Unlimited.
See, wasn't that great? I mean, didn't that convince you of how awesome America is? That free market system, that economic competition, those fossil fuels. Wouldn't it be great if every country was just like this one?
No! No! All kinds of markets shooting all over the place like random guppy swimming in tiny pool. Markets take big roller coaster crashes. Millions of people commit suicide because of so depressed. It's better to have much municipal farms where everyone gets just enough as what they need to work.
But in America, the land of the public domain, we believe in people having individual agency and standing alone amongst a crowd.
Why? You live in a giant country. You live on the same land. Everything should belong to one person who claimed that land.
Well, maybe I don't think that.
Well, that's too bad. We've got weapons. We can prove you wrong.
Well, that's another great thing that's amazing about America is the size of our arsenal. We have all kinds of weapons that can keep our enemies in line. And if we get mad, we can use them.
Well, Tiberia has an arsenal too. And if we're mad enough, we will use them as well.
Well, so says you. Oh, hey, Blizzard Wizard. Hey, Ograt. How much of that did you hear?
Ograt hear enough.
Sounds pretty serious. I don't know if anything's gonna come of that. We might want to, get to a shelter, like maybe get underground or something. Guess we're good. We planned ahead. But, to those of you watching at home, if anything does come of this, we have some safety tips prepared that you might want to pay attention. It's, features a turtle named Bert. And pay attention to Bert the Turtle, kids. And if you see a flash outside your window, remember to duck. Duck down, everybody. And cover. Cover with your hands. Duck and cover, kids. That's what you're going to want to do. Listen to Bert. Listen to Bert now. Here's that.
Dum dum, diddle dum dum, diddle dum dum, diddle dum dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He ducked and cover, ducked and cover.
He did what we all must learn to do.
You and you
And you
and you duck and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing. That's what this film is all about. Duck and cover. This is an official civil defense film produced in cooperation with the Federal Civil Defense Administration and in consultation with the Safety Commission of the National Education Association. Produced by Archer Productions, Incorporated. Hey, Bert, come on out and meet all these nice people, please. Oh, all right. We really can't blame you. You see, Bert is a very, very careful fellow. When there's danger, this is the way he keeps from being hurt. Sometimes it even saves his life. That's why these children are practicing to duck and cover just as you do in your school. We all know the atomic bomb is very dangerous. Since it may be used against us, we must get ready for it, just as we are ready for many other dangers that are around us all the time. Fire is a danger. It can burn whole buildings if someone is careless. But we are ready for fires. We have a fine fire department to put out the fire, and you have fire drills in your school so you know what to do. Automobiles can be dangerous, too. They sometimes cause bad accidents, but we are ready. We have safety rules that car drivers and people who are walking must obey. Now, we must be ready for a new danger, the atomic bomb. First, you have to know what happens when an atomic bomb explodes. You will know when it comes. We hope it never comes, but we must get ready. It looks something like this. There is a bright flash, brighter than the sun, brighter than anything you've ever seen. If you were not ready and did not know what to do, it could hurt you in different ways. It could knock you down hard or throw you against a tree or a wall. It is such a big explosion, it can smash in buildings and knock signboards over and break windows all over town. But if you duck and cover like Bert, you will be much safer. You know how bad sunburn can feel. The atomic bomb flash could burn you worse than a terrible sunburn, especially where you're not covered. Now, you and I don't have shells to crawl into like Bert the turtle, so we have to cover up in our own way. First, you duck, and then you cover. And very tightly, you cover the back of your neck and your face. Duck and cover underneath a table or desk or anything else close by. In Betty's school, they are talking about the atomic bomb, too. Betty is asking her teacher, how can we tell when the atomic bomb may explode? And her teacher is explaining that there are two kinds of attack, with warning and without any warning. We think that most of the time we will be warned before the bomb explodes, so there will be time for us to get into our homes, schools, or some other safe place. Our civil defense workers and our men in uniform will do everything they can to warn us before enemy planes can bring a bomb near us. You may be in your schoolyard playing when the signal comes. That signal means to stop whatever you are doing and get to the nearest safe place fast. Always remember, the flash of an atomic bomb can come at any time, no matter where you may be. You might be out playing at home when the warning comes. Then be sure to get into the house fast, where your parents have fixed a safe place for you to go. If you are not close to home when you hear the warning, go to the nearest safe cover. Know where you are to go, or ask an older person to help you. You know the places marked with the S sign? They're safe places to go when you hear the alarm. If there is a warning, you will hear it before the bomb explodes. But sometimes, and this is very, very important, sometimes the bomb might explode without any warning. Then the first thing we would know about it would be the flash. And that means duck and cover fast, wherever you are. There's no time to look around or wait. Be like Bert. When there is a flash, duck and cover, and do it fast. Here are some older boys showing what to do if the flash comes when you are not in the classroom. This is what to do if you should be in a corridor. You duck and cover tight against the wall this way. Remember to keep your face and the back of your neck covered tightly. Try to fall away from windows or doors with glass in them. Then, if the glass breaks and flies through the air, it won't cut you. You might be eating your lunch when the flash comes. Duck and cover under the table. Then, if the explosion makes anything in the room fall down, it can't fall on you. Getting ready means we will all have to be able to take care of ourselves. The bomb might explode when there are no grown-ups near. Paul and Patty know this, and they're always ready to take care of themselves. Here they are on their way to school on a beautiful spring day. But no matter where they go or what they do, they always try to remember what to do if the atom bomb explodes right then. It's a bomb. Duck and cover. Paul and Patty know what to do. Paul covered the back of his head so that he wouldn't be burned, and Patty covered herself with the coat she was carrying. They knew how to duck and cover. They acted right away when the flash came. If they had been at this doorway when the bomb flashed, Paul and Patty would have ducked and covered this way, like this girl. Heavy doorways are a good place to duck and cover. She will be safer, too. Here's Tony going to his Cub Scout meeting. Tony knows the bomb can explode any time of the year, day or night. He is ready for it. Duck and cover. Atta boy, Tony. That flash means act fast. Tony knows that it helps to get to any kind of cover. This wall was close by, so that's where he ducked and covered. Tony knew what to do. Notice how he keeps from moving or from getting up and running? He stays down until he is sure the danger is over. The man helping Tony is a civil defense worker. His job is to help protect us when there is danger of the atomic bomb. We must obey the civil defense worker. We must know how to duck and cover in the school bus or in any other bus or streetcar. Duck and cover. Don't wait. Duck away from the windows fast. The glass may break and fly through the air and cut you. Sundays, holidays, vacation time, we must be ready every day, all the time, to do the right thing if the atomic bomb explodes. Duck and cover. This family knows what to do, just as your own family should. They know that even a thin cloth helps protect them. Even a newspaper can save you from a bad burn. But the most important thing of all is to duck and cover yourself, especially where your clothes do not cover you. No matter where we live, in the city or the country, we must be ready all the time for the atomic bomb. Duck and cover. That's the first thing to do, duck and cover. The next important thing to do after that is to stay covered until the danger is over. Yes, we must all get ready now so we know how to save ourselves if the atomic bomb ever explodes near us. If you do not know just what to do, ask your teacher when this film is over. Discuss what you could do in different places if a bomb explodes. Older people will help us as they always do, but there might not be any grown-ups around when the bomb explodes. Then, you're on your own.
Remember what to do, friends. Now tell me right out loud. What are you supposed to do when you see the flash?
Duck and cover. Duck and cover. Duck and cover.
Well, viewers, things are tense right now. Relationships aren't the best between America and Tiberia. And so I thought I'd do my part to take a stand and speak out in favor of this great nation and the public domain which it supports. So here goes. It's a little speech I call the Gauntleysburg Address. 80 and, well, actually just 4 episodes ago, I brought forth on this public access station a new program, conceived in kitsch and dedicated to the proposition that all films are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great war, testing whether that program or any program so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of this set as a memorial to those who gave their sweat and blood and, yes, even their lives to create the schlocky and forgotten films of yesteryear, that program might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But In a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow these films. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled to make them, regardless of technical skill or threadbare budget, have consecrated them far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did. It is for us, the undead, therefore, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought to make these cheap and campy films have thus far so nobly advanced. It is for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead, these Ed Woods and these Hal Warrens, shall not have died in vain, that this program, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom from oppressive copyright policies, and that a public domain of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Gauntly!
Ah, I see you've come.
I hear part of your speech. It is very moving, very touching. I see that you have great love for your country as I love mine. So I'm giving you one chance, because I like you, to surrender.
Oh, well, I don't know if that's in the cards, Mr. Glorious Leader, because, you know, I love America too much to surrender. A surrendered America isn't a real, true, genuine America. And it seems I haven't sold you on that yet.
No, I am still very much not sold.
Well, maybe one of the greatest of the American founding fathers can help in my hour of need. Maybe Benjamin Franklin can sell you on America.
There, you see how you contradict yourself. You see where your pretty reasoning leads you.
Aye. I presume thou art in the right, Ben Franklin.
Presume? Huh. Unquestionably I'm in the right. I was in the right in the beginning. I've been in the right all along. I'm always right.
Thou hast won the disputation, Ben Franklin. But I won't concede it to thee.
Won't concede it, eh? Why, my friend? Prithee, why?
Because, Ben, thou art not content with being in the right. Thou hast to be overbearing and insolent as well. Good day to thee, sir.
Well,
Good day, Mistress Franklin.
Good day.
Did you win your argument, Benjamin?
What, dear child?
I say, did you win the argument with your Quaker friend?
Win? Win? Did I win?
Ben Franklin, the great American diplomat and philosopher. One of the greatest salesmen that ever lived. He began life an inveterate arguer. But when his Quaker friend drove home the awful truth, Ben took it on the chin and asked himself a few questions. He did some powerful thinking, and he came to the conclusion that you don't win arguments by arguing. But what is more important, Ben did something about it. He decided to correct his faults. He determined to change his method of working with people. he formulated some rules to govern his man-to-man relations. Virtue is obtained rather by the use of the ears than of the tongue. Put on the humble inquirer. Argument is productive of disgusts and perhaps enmities. In answering an opinion, observe that in certain cases the opinion would be right. Forbear all direct contradictions to the sentiments of others and all positive assertions. Lose no time, but let each part of your business have its time. They are simple, these rules, but they helped make possible Ben's long and illustrious career of selling America. They helped make Ben one of the most effective salesmen of all time. Now, Ben wasn't what we would call a natural-born salesman, but by applying these rules, he sold the people of Pennsylvania his ideas for clean streets. People weren't attracted to Ben, just the opposite, in fact. But despite this, he sold his ideas for a volunteer fire department and a public library. By nature, Ben didn't have the knack of getting along with people, yet he put over his ideas for a free hospital and state university. Ben was a poor speaker, but he carried his points. He sold America to the French and secured many millions of dollars in loans. Loans which made possible the victories of General George Washington. As an old man, Ben went to the Constitutional Convention and sold America on signing the supreme law of the land. Selling America wasn't a hit or miss proposition with Ben. It all came down to the simple rules he established for himself early in life, and which he applied throughout the length and breadth of his long selling career.
Sound words of wisdom from a legendary founding father. What do you think, glorious leader? Did Benjamin Franklin sell you on America?
I suppose if it works in Tiberia for the Tiberians, maybe it works in America for the Americans.
The American way might work for the Americans?
Yeah, possibly.
Well, I'm gonna show you something, glorious leader. One last thing that will maybe really convince you that there's value to the American way of life. And I think you'll find that it combines both our worlds, because I'll be playing the American National Anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner, on the theremin, the earliest known electronic musical instrument, designed by Leon Theremin, a Soviet scientist in the 1920s. So, communism and capitalism, socialism and democracy together right here in one musical performance. And I'm going to try to charm you and make you see that the American way of life works just great for me and for my countrymen. Here we go. And there you have it, glorious leader. So, tell me, what did you all think?
Algrat enjoys silly man music.
It was fairly impressive. Very, very profound.
So, do you think maybe you're starting to realize that the American way of life works well for what it is for the American people?
I suppose, yes, it actually works pretty well for Americans.
So would you say that you're sold on America?
Yes, I believe I am sold on America.
And there you have it. From the glorious leader of East Tiberia's own lips. He's sold on America. Hard to believe, but true. And, you know, another great thing about America is being together with good friends on the 4th of July to celebrate. So, come on in, everybody. Gather around. Happy 4th of July to you all. And happy Independence Day to you watching at home. Here's wishing you a great celebration with friends and family, and many a happy hot dog. Come on, buds. Let's go enjoy a fresh, hot Frankfurter. Oh, this is going to be great. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Enjoy those hot dogs.